geologists have put a lot of thought into this thing, and I assume that one of them would have thought
whoever
that
is
is
running around that they're trying to capture me. No. I think that I might be the first one to come up with it.
But I also
and I might be
think
right.
that, like, if, right, so if I guess it's like frosting
It
a cake,
may not
right?
comprehend
Okay, so you've got this crack in your cake, you take your frosting, and
may not
what does
realize
it do?
that the problem
Does
is
it
you
just
have a
gloss right over it, or does
camera.
it fill in that
So
crack?
they don't even think that I need to fill with a paragraph.
It fills
To top
I would say like 90% of it.
How many cakes have you made?
A lot.
Okay, I'll go with you, Justin.
Let's make a cake and confirm this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that would just be my, and you know, frosting is definitely more rigid
I'm
than
not
like,
disagreeing
so
with
if you're
you.
going to do like a glaze,
if they
definitely
wanted to
fill
go,
that, which would be
just
more
amazing
accurate
length, they
comparison.
should
So I guess that's
house in infrared cameras and night vision cameras and just record it 24/7 and invested in some crazy setup. But they didn't do that. But I'm not gonna fault them because I personally
yeah, it's just hard. It's rough. I mean,
their issue of getting an image of the person was they always said this guy is so white, he is so good at what he's doing that he's evading not only us, he's evading. So again, I'm not gonna. That's why I'm not.
Well, and that's what I just want people to do here, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really think you could solve the mystery by subverting it, large and just setting digital down on the website stuff. Let's go down a ways. I mean, obviously, I don't think money was that much of an hassle. Can't go down. I really would have thought identifying
all right. Shall we move on, or do you have any more on this?
No, that's all I have.
No, it's just a mystery.
The lizard people are stealing our water again, man.
I think we're almost
Oh, and before I forget, this was a listener suggestion too. Tom, right? I think it's been a while. I'm really sorry.
He's just an admit ago.
Anyway, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, well now we got mine, which I it's very unfortunate. I didn't pick one. I have 6,900 of them.
I'm sorry. How many?
We were only going to talk about 3 holes. Hello.
Yeah, well, you added that other goofy one in the beginning.
I stuck to my gun.
Yeah, well, I'm still of the opinion that now we have to talk about something. What I found is the band of holes in Peru.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll give you a pass on this one.
Whether this was intentional, whether it was intentional, what we've got here is, it's like I said, the band of holes is 6,900 uniform based on what I've seen in the ground. They're in Pisco Valley, which is on the Nazca Plateau, which is in Peru. In the Nazca Plateau, people have probably heard about it. That's where the Nazca lines are, those giant lines that are carved in the top of a plateau. That when you see the satellite, you see they're like birds and weird stuff. That is it the Aztecs that people think you don't know?
We have the Aztecs, we believe it.
Incas, thank you. That's who it is.
So this is in an area that's known for doing scale things.
Yeah,
huge scale, strange things. Yeah,
the Incas did a lot of interesting stuff.
They did.
They did a lot of interesting, pointless stuff.
Well, this plateau is about, to give you kind of a reference, if you look on a map in Peru, you'll find the town of Pisco. It's about 15 miles, give or take, east of Pisco. Where it's at.
Is that where Pisco Sour originated?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Let's just say yes.
All right.
Somebody out there do a Google on that. We're too late.
So the band of holes extends for about a mile or so, and it runs north-south, and it runs over uneven mountain surface.
Is it approximately north-south, or is it actually north-south?
It's approximate.
Okay,
It's
so
not an actual straight line thing.
Okay.
It's not a perfectly straight line, unlike all the other stuff that's on the top.
Yeah.
We leave that alone.
I will do
the
that.
grouping of holes, because they're drilled into the ground, to use the word drilled into the ground inappropriately or incorrectly, it's a series of holes, so they can be 6 to 10 in a row next to each other. It varies between how many cross.
Width-wise, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. And that band of holes can be anywhere from 20 to 30 feet across, because the holes themselves are typically about 6 or 7 feet across.
Whoa.
And anywhere from 6 or 7 feet deep to just a
There's
few
also the
inches.
PayPal.
And we have PayPal.
Here's the weird thing
And
about
of
a few
course,
inches
you
deep.
know,
I was trying to
so we have
find
merch out there if you wanna
how
support us,
people
like
determined that they were a few
Bible,
inches
cool
deep, and I couldn't find any
mug or t-shirt,
solid
something like
science
that.
on
Other
it.
than that, that's
But
about it.
they look
You
like
guys
they're
have any last
crumbling and
thoughts
they're
on this
falling
week's
apart and
mystery?
they're kind of collapsing.
I don't.
So I think that when people say they're a few inches deep, they mean these holes have
That's
kind of
about
filled
it.
in. So all that's left is a couple
Bye,
inches.
Bye, everybody.
In some places, the holes, like I said, they're about anywhere between 6 to 10 holes across.
Right.
And they're in a perfectly rigid line, so a set of holes, directly after the set of holes. Sometimes they start to break apart and they widen a little bit. So remember I said it went from 20 to 30 feet across? So they get a little irregular in their placing, and they start kind of going straight up the hill, and then they bend, and we're talking up a mountain, so they're kind of going over ridges
hey guys,
and back
it's,
and forth.
Thinking Sideways,
If
Team
you're looking
Sideways
at it on a
here.
map, think of it left
Devin,
to right,
joined
east
by
to west, essentially.
Steve.
And
So they
What-
twist
what do you guys
and they
wanna talk about
turn.
tonight?
So
You know,
it's really
I tossed a
weird
coin and,
that it's just this
it
whole
landed out
series
there,
of
so
lines
it
that
was
just
screwed.
go up,
Yeah.
and eventually
It is
they come
the
to
100th episode.
It
a
is, it's the 100th
saddle.
episode.
Is the term
Probably
that I would
do
use in the
something
mountain. It's where two ridges
magnificently huge.
or two sections come
Or
together and
just
form
talk about
that,
the fact that I can't
V,
believe that we
Yeah.
made it this
and they
long.
stop.
yeah, we could just phone it in.
How do you hold it together this long?
No.
No, it's like, I gotta say, and
People
I
just
encourage
haven't
all of our
caught
listeners
it
to go
on
out
yet.
and look at
That
the
we don't
aerial.
know what
That
we're
we don't
talking
know what
about.
we're doing.
They haven't
figured it out.
It looks like a
Thank you,
wide road.
Wikipedia. It kind of does,
Well, if
except
you guys
that when
wanna
you
talk
get
about
into the
something
when you start looking at the satellite
magnificent
imagery and you
or,
start
like,
looking at
royally
roads,
magnificent.
they're very
Should we talk
different
about this
because
massive
this is a
tome
series
that I
of
have in my
pockmarks.
hand?
Yeah.
Which
Which
is
is our
phrase
show
that I would
notes.
use
Why don't we throw the
in
lines
the
open and
landscape of the
just let
mountain,
people
and
call
then
in what
a
they're
road would be
suggesting?
nice
Yeah,
and smooth.
let's do
It's kind of
Yeah, it's not really that
We
good,
don't have a phone.
obviously.
We don't have a
Have
phone
line.
yet.
They've been there
Can't
so
afford it.
long
Yeah.
that the indigenous people
So I guess
have no idea
Royal
where they came from.
Mystery
The people who live in the
Night,
region,
we're
they
gonna
just they've always been there.
the death
They've just
of Princess
always
Diana. That's
been
always
there.
one of the like really interesting things to me because I feel like indigenous people are really good at coming, like they have lore surrounding just like that, right? And that like in my hand is a good 3 times longer than normal script. Had their at least their ancestors created it. So had there been any kind of ownership
Get your water
of
bottle,
it
your
in their
granola
history,
bars.
everybody go to the bathroom. They would
Go to the bathroom now. We're not going to wait.
so,
Go to the bathroom now. We're not going to stop.
Okay, you ready? Let's talk about Diana's birth certificate.
Long gone.
Okay.
Nothing about this.
Yeah, we all thought it was going to be. All you got to go out longer.
Diana Spencer was born the fourth child of John Spencer and Frances Gibb on July 1st, 1961. She was one of 4 children, 5, but she had a brother who died as a Her father was named the 8th Earl of Spencer.
Yeah, they look at your concept.
Go into the safeguard room and lock and never come out.
Yeah, go to our waiting room. Yeah, stay there for about 5
Her
years.
family was part of the aristocracy.
created something more serious.
Pretty much in any way you define it.
Like I said,
The Spencers had been
public
really
guy.
closely allied with the royal family for a very long time.
And
And as one of our experts put it, they were, quote, pals, but, quote, highly orchestrated pals. The Spencer family and the royal
So
family.
it's been a win all the way
What
around.
exactly does that mean?
And it's
It
still
means
unsolved,
that they,
or at least part of it is.
So can you,
Lot of
I mean,
planned
I know
interaction.
that lots of planning went into you, we all in this
Okay.
room too, but
Wow.
I think fun fact, Winston Churchill is apparently
Yeah,
a blood
if you're not near a
relative of
browser, you
Diana.
can't do it. You know, bring
You're
up-
driving. Anyways,
Yeah, if you're driving,
Diana
you
had a
can't.
pretty privileged and
all the
curated
time,
upbringing, as I'm
Yeah,
sure you
so if
can
you're driving,
imagine.
just close your
Her
eyes.
godfather was
Try
the
to
chairman
bring
of
Don't
Yeah, her godfather.
Please open your eyes
I mean, listen
immediately.
to Joe, but don't close your eyes.
I never even been able to figure that out.
All right, yeah. If there's no
She's
rest
the-
area
the
nearby,
Queen Mother
keep your
is
eyes
the
open.
mom of
So
the
let me
reigning
describe it.
monarch.
If you're standing
So
at
she's
most
the
of
mom of
pictures are taken
Elizabeth,
from one side,
right?
and
Elizabeth is the
side
queen,
where
is the monarch right now, so she's
correct.
Elizabeth.
Read from left to right.
Yeah, it's about
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so
Got
Okay, I just
that side there.
so much royal intrigue and how the systems are set up.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of experts.
I know you're 10 feet tall, and
Yeah.
I pretty good read a lot of those emails.
Yeah.
Didn't help me.
Yeah, it was pretty helpful, but I was still confused.
Well, that's 'cause I'm just a dummy about
out like a sheet of paper as if
Diana was a shy child. She took an interest in
real
music
copper,
and
so
dancing,
exactly
and
green.
again,
Exactly, yeah.
unsurprisingly, trained in
So
classical
everybody knows.
ballet.
Yeah. So,
Apparently, Diana also had an interest in children, as in,
No, it is really copper. And it scrolls out like so. If you're standing inside, it scrolls
She attended an
away
all-girls
from you,
boarding
goes in a
school, which
semicircle
I
back towards
understand
you,
is typical
and then it curves away around the other way.
aristocracy. She's not part of, well, yeah.
On the one
And it
side,
turns out she wasn't a great student. She failed her O levels, aka ordinary levels, twice, which is kind of like failing your GED in the US.
There's a little round,
It's like, it's basically high
In the
school.
arc of the high school equivalent.
Yeah, the arc was copper, yeah.
She
the
was
tail
an
is
accomplished
bottom.
artist,
Yeah, so
however, and she
that
fell
actually
in
is kind of like
music.
the other end of the scroll.
She was apparently an accomplished
Right.
pianist as well. She was a talented ballerina, but
Things that I never did.
yeah,
Frankly, I never paid attention to them when it was a lot
right,
of
of course.
time.
Yeah, she was also a very talented ballerina, like I said, but she was very tall. Too tall to be a ballerina. I didn't realize that. I thought all ballerinas were supposed to be tall.
Maybe because if you go on the other side, there's one the hands the guy can stand out around
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's a good theory, though.
and
I could go off on this for hours,
It's a
but I
great
just
place to join.
You could, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Not what it's
ballerina.
intended
Yeah,
for.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yes, I trained
like it.
classically.
Yeah.
Job as
There
a
are
nanny
letters
for the
headed to this
daughter
copper
of
sheet about
Major
the
and his wife.
1700s or
Diana
so
was
letters.
close friends with the
Yeah.
brother of the
And
Major's
they're actually
wife.
like
So it seems that's
stamped
probably how
out.
she
I
got
don't know if they were cut
connected.
out with the torch or stamped or
Knew some
what,
people.
but they go all the way.
This is always the thing that gets me.
They were
Probably
probably
did you guys ever watch that? It was probably done baseball.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Your brother's cousin's college roommate. Like this is always what it makes me think of. Well, I know your brother's sister's mother's
You just have to take things
Yeah.
really
Oh, so
Yeah, it's very, very
connected is a better way to say it.
Way
Take
further.
it.
Of course,
A
you can
year
find
later,
drawings
she
of the
moved into
text
her
part of
mom's
the
flat in
sculpture
London,
online.
and then on her
And I'll
18th
describe that
birthday,
real
her
briefly.
father
It's shaped
purchased
like a
a flat of
rectangle,
her
which is divided
own
into four smaller
for about
rectangles.
$100,000.
The two right rectangles show
Imagine getting a
the
flat
top
one
left
for 100,000
these days.
Yeah,
Over
right.
and over
Yeah.
again with no chance.
She worked a few different jobs. Most of them were with
Which is a
children,
big hint,
and she was
because
always
actually
noted
turns
to
out
have had
one of
a
the
really
keys
strong
for
community
the encryption
spirit and a
cipher of
deep
the
love
first
for
two
teaching
messages.
children.
Because this
In
whole thing is one
1977,
giant
just
cipher.
prior
We
to
haven't
moving to
said that
London,
yet.
Diana met her
Yeah.
older
The whole
sister's boyfriend,
sculpture is
Charles.
Ah,
Giant
That
fire.
boyfriend?
Well, yeah, the left
Yep.
half is Charles. Is the
Yes,
message, the
Prince
right
Charles.
half is, oh man, so Prince
Okay.
Charles, like rectangles on the left
Dating
hand
her
side.
older
The top, okay, so the top
All
half
of-
of
just
or
two of the
upper
there, I
left
think
hand
there were three.
rectangle is
In
what's called the
1980,
visionary
Diana
cipher.
happened to be at
Which
the
is
same
named after a
quote,
French
country
photographer called
weekend event,
the
and she
Visionary.
watched him play
He
polo,
was
which
a
apparently
16th
was
century
his thing.
And actually,
yeah.
he apparently did
The
not
watching of
invent
the polo.
this
I mean, he liked to play
method.
polo.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Ladies watching him play polo, that's how he
It's
met
your
his
mom.
girlfriends.
I was going to say, Devin, I know you're not old enough
Invented
probably to
also in the
remember this,
15th
but Joe
century,
does,
and
is
then
I remember seeing
Visionary
all kinds of
modified it several
footage
decades later,
of
and then
Charles
sooner
in the
centuries after that, it was
80s
misattributed to him,
always
but actually-
playing polo.
Yeah.
He was always, he was on the horse, then he was
kinda
getting
like
off the
that,
horse,
yeah.
and it was
Wow.
always polo,
But,
polo,
we
polo
don't
with
care.
that guy.
It doesn't-
That's the royal
And here's a
sport.
quick, let me give you a real quick down, by the way, rundown of how it works. So now everybody knows
Yeah,
it's part of the
really, really good.
You
No,
don't
yeah.
know what Caesar
Start-
is.
I mean,
Square one,
I
Caesarship.
think,
Okay,
and I've
okay.
read a few accounts
Yeah,
that say that this
Caesarship
is
one
actually
where it's
a
the
better
easiest
cover
and
story
dumbest
than the
cipher
truth
out
of
there.
how they actually met,
Where you
and
basically
they
take
actually
the
met
keys.
drinking at a
You
friend's
might
apartment.
say, let's say you're in the bowling alley. If you're, if I were to say,
no.
if you're going to shift
After a
everything
really
over
brief
one, and of
courtship,
course if you're two, you shift
Charles
everything over
proposed
three
to
now.
Diana.
But let's say it's one.
They were engaged
So I'm
for
encrypting,
5
say,
months
Devin.
before their wedding,
Was
and
Devin still dating his older sister?
no, they'd broken
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, they'd broken up.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Oh.
yeah.
Right.
According
Okay.
to some
Good.
sources,
Well,
Diana and Charles both
but
knew
those
the
are
marriage was
ridiculously
doomed
easy
pretty
to
much from
break.
the start.
And
For her
so
part,
the
Diana had
Visionary
found out
cipher
about
is
Camilla,
simple
who
as
is
one.
widely accepted
Like
as
a-
Charles's
like a
first and
Caesar
only
ship,
true
like
love,
big
and
keys.
is in fact his current wife.
As of
She
today.
was
Bacon.
married
And actually
to
make
someone
that our
else
key, and
when
so
he
we
married
shift,
Diana.
the
And we'll
first
talk
character
about
by
that.
two,
Yep.
because
And Charles found out that Diana was, quote, a vulnerable, complicated woman already suffering from an eating disorder, unquote. So basically he realized that she was like a real human woman, not the, quote, jolly country girl that he thought her to be. That's a rude awakening for any man, to realize that he's dating a real woman with feelings and things. I know you don't.
I never understood why that had to be. Why do women have to have feelings?
I don't know, sorry,
It's
we
weird.
got programmed with it, I guess.
Awkward.
Yeah, they did go through with the marriage, however, despite all of them into doing it. She was 22 and he was 33, and it was a huge event. Billions of people watched this, which these days I guess is not so big a deal, but in the 80s,
That was like
pretty indoor deal.
where was it, like Westminster Cathedral or something like that?
Did you guys watch the wedding? I mean, recently.
I saw a few pictures of it, and I just thought, well, I want to have a wedding there. I want my wedding there. That's so it started.
I remember seeing stuff about it when I was a kid, and then I skimmed through some of the footage, and it is so amazingly lavish.
Oh yeah. Well, did you see the more recent wedding, way more recent wedding of Prince William and Kate
Okay,
Middleton?
so I'm going to ask a question that I think I remember seeing stuff about. It was the same thing.
It was
So you said the key to this.
pretty big.
Wasn't that where there was the whole scandal of big hats?
There's
All of the royal
Don't
ladies were like
yeah.
trying to outdo each other with the bigger and bigger hats. You didn't say. Yes, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
there was an awesome meme where two of the ladies looked exactly like the wicked stepsisters, Cinderella. Yeah. Anyways, back to what the point at hand is. Diana and Charles managed to pop out two lovely princes pretty quickly. One, Prince William, that we were just talking about, and one, Prince Harry, the Dreamy. By all accounts, the boys just totally adored her, and she was a hugely successful mother. She and Charles did separate in the 90s. It seems it was mutual. And they finally divorced on August 28th, 1996. Diana dated a man named Hasnat Khan, who was a British Pakistani heart surgeon, and many people close to Diana said that he was the love of her life.
He broke up with her.
Well, it's unclear. They dated for 2 years, and during the inquest that we're going to talk a whole lot about in a little bit here, he was actually interviewed, and he said that she broke up with him in a park very suddenly, but a lot of friends said that she told them that he had broken up with her, and it's not quite clear why they broke up or anything
I've
like
read
that.
stuff that said that he broke it off because they dated basically. A lot of it was kind of secret. It was a secret relationship.
Well, it was a secret
Everybody
because he
listening, I
didn't
know
want
that
it to be.
this
He didn't want the
can kind of-
paparazzi and
Yeah,
all that.
but he didn't want the publicity. He didn't want to deal with all of that. So it was, hey, come over and have a pizza and a beer, we'll watch a movie, and whatever happens, and we do this all the time. But I don't want to make this an official thing and be out in public because I don't want all these people bothering me. That's what I read. He does a much better job of making this. That would drive a wedge in just about any relationship. That would be a book I'd recommend
But
to
apparently, most
It
people
really
say
is kind of hard to
that
make
he
this
was the love of
totally
her life.
understandable when you, because
So
it's a
it
very
was pretty
visual
heartbreaking.
thing. I mean,
They broke up
I've got
for her,
this table right in front of me. It's very easy.
broke it off.
You guys would have it.
I haven't
So within a
read
month
it.
of her breakup, I was going to say I haven't. She began dating, and I do not understand it at all. But the good news is I don't try to decipher messages.
Yeah. No, but here's
I think where we're going to go from here is we're going to talk about some of the players here.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of players, and we should probably talk about them so people have a frame of reference.
Yeah.
Because I think we've made the mistake in the past of presuming that everybody knew who everybody was, so we're going to make sure we cover
the top line.
First off, we have Prince Charles, who's not Chuck. His full name and title is Charles Philip Arthur George, Prince of Wales. Charles is the first and oldest son of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, whom we'll talk about in a minute. And like we just said, he married Diana. But Charles was born in 1948, and he is the heir apparent to the British crown. You don't know what the heir
So that's how
apparent
you
means.
do it.
I don't know why he bothers to put things in code.
Apparent.
Yes, because I know that, you know, there's the president in the United States and the vice president. Vice president is exactly what same concept.
Different
Just in different terms.
Yeah, building good standards.
So that's how the first bill listed when I was trying to
the first cipher.
official website for the crown. It's still listed.
You know that? Yeah.
How what?
I have to presume
I don't know
that
that
it
that's what it
hasn't
is.
passed on
Actually,
to his
people-
son.
Yeah, if
I
Jim
actually
said
thought
William, then it's William's son.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and then their daughter who they just recently had. So it's Charles, and then William, and then his son, and then the daughter. So now we're 1, 2,